Well, good morning and welcome to Q&A Friday for April 25th, 2025. Hope you're having a good Friday so far. I certainly am. And welcome to the Blueprint Daily Voiceover Huddle. We do it every weekday morning here on the YouTubes at 9 a.m. Pacific time, where we just give you a little bit of a trick to and a tip to kind of further your voiceover business, getting on down the road there. So my name is Mike Hathcote. I'm a full-time voice talent. I've been doing this since the 90s, and I've just written a book recently called The Voiceover Blueprint. If you want to check that out, you can get the book bundle for the with the digital download and the audiobook, as well as 4 free gifts for less than $10 in the link below. Also, since it is Q&A Friday, don't forget to chime in on the chat and ask your questions, and I'll do some shout outs as well here in just a few minutes. And don't forget to like and subscribe and notification bell and all that stuff. Got to get all that out of the way. But this week, we've been talking about Fiverr, and that's all leading up to the class on Tuesday night, where John Drennan is going to teach us what is working now on Fiverr. And that's Tuesday night at, I believe, 5 p.m. Pacific time. As I've mentioned before, there's been lots of just big changes on Fiverr in the last several months, and John is the Jedi master when it comes to how Fiverr works and the algorithm and what doesn't work, more importantly. And so he's going to teach us on Tuesday night what really is working now. And so he actually helped my personal profile on Fiverr get up to top rated status a couple of years ago, and he's going to help you do the same in this class. So whether or not you're doing, you're struggling on Fiverr and want to really, help that situation out, or like me, you're actually doing pretty well on Fiverr and you just want to kind of, take it up a notch, this is the class to attend. And this class is actually a twofer. So you're going to get not only the original class on Tuesday night for an hour and a half, but also a second class 2 weeks after that for another hour of Q&A. So it's kind of a twofer there. So you're going to get 2.5 hours of deep Fiverr training to level up on Fiverr. The first class is about an hour and then half an hour of Q&A. And then the second class 2 weeks after that is once you've implemented some of the teachings that John is going to talk about, you can ask more detailed questions in that second class. So, and the second class does not cost anything. So if you've signed up for the first class, you get the second class automatically included. So, oh, and also we're giving away a free seat to the class, as we always do. On Monday, I'm going to draw a name from all the people who've registered for the class, and you could be one of the ones or the one to win that free seat at the class. And if you're the winner, I'll just refund your money and you can attend for free, both classes. We are capping it at 100 people, and there are some seats left. So if you haven't signed up, check it out in the link below. But we're capping it at 100 people because we want to make sure that there's plenty of time at the end of the class for questions. Because you're going to have initial questions, and then once you get in and get your hands dirty, you're going to have more questions, and that's what that second class is for. So the link below to sign up, and then it also is going to be pre-recorded, or not pre-recorded, it's going to be recorded. And so if you can't attend live, you can always get the playback for both classes, by the way. So this is a class, if you are a Fiverr fan, or if you're a Fiverr or on Fiverr, this is a class you do not want to miss, because with all the changes that have happened recently, it's good to stay on top of things. All right. Okay. Enough of that. Let's go answer some questions since it's Q&A Friday. Mark from Montreal, ding, ding, ding. He's in first today. And there's Sean from, I think, Longview. He didn't say, but see, it's starting to stick. Sean in Longview, happy Friday to you, sir. And there's Jason from Kearney, Nebraska. And good morning, John from Denver. I got to get back to Denver, man. I lived there for, I don't know, about 6 years in the early 2000s, and it was great. Loved it. Wish I could get my wife to agree to retire there, but we'll see. There's Terry from Falston, Maryland. Terry asks, why is it important to continue to train as a voice actor? Ooh, that's an excellent question, Terry. Well, anybody who wants to stay at the top of their game, I don't care if it's an actor, an athlete, anyone. This is why people like LeBron James, why they have a coach. They don't know it all. Even though they're the top of their game, they don't know it all. So they have coaches that continue to, give them wisdom and help them stay at the top of their game. Same goes for voice acting. I've mentioned this before. I like to think that I'm pretty good at what I do in voice acting, but I still have coaches. Remember that one I did a few weeks ago about some of the good coaches and some of the not so good coaches? I actually have coaches that I go to when I feel like I need a little bit of, encouragement or tighten the screws a little bit just to kind of make sure that I'm at the top. So just with any skill, there's always new learning. There's also a lot of changes in the industry. And so if you just kind of get into it and don't pay attention to all the changes, you're going to fall behind. But if you're constantly keeping on top of the latest trends and things and in different styles of reads that are in vogue or whatever, you want to stay on top of that. So that's why it's important to keep training even after you've been doing this a while. Good question though, Terry. Thank you. There's Kirk from Greenville, South Carolina, and Andrew from Latvia. Hope you're healing up well, Andrew. That was a bummer. Corey from Whitehall, Wisconsin, and Bob. Oh, it jumped. Bob from Wadsworth, Ohio. And there's Alexis from West DF Dub. Hey, there's Charlie. Greetings from Sparta, Wisconsin. And Tracy from Rochester, Minnesota. David from Hamilton, Ontario. Blah. Can you tell it's Friday? And I speak for a living. There's Alexis. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. And thank you for the reminder, Alexis. I mentioned that at the top, but it's always a good reminder. David says, how can I reach out to the audio engineer that you talked about? Okay, that's a good question. And his name is Alex DeWeese. He's Bill DeWeese's son, and he is a professional audio engineer by trade. And his email is alex@billdeweese.com. alex@billdeweese.com. He will take care of your booth requirements as far as making sure that your sound is dialed in to be as perfect as it can be. And he will create what's called an effects rack for your space so that all you got to do is once you're done recording and editing, you just hit a button and everything gets fixed. So hit him up. Kirk says, when you reach your level of workload in the industry, do you ever find it difficult to enjoy any time off or vacations? Or can you turn it off and disappear without any anxiety? Oh, Kirk, that is such a good question. And I'll be honest, it's hard for me to do that. I'm a very driven person, and my wife gets on to me all the time about not unplugging and letting it go. And for the first few years, I didn't take vacations. And if I did, I would take all my gear with me and try to make sure that I didn't miss anything, while I was gone. But man, after a certain amount of success, and a lot of working with my wife, who's a psychologist, I've been able to unplug. It's still back in the back of my head, that there's work to be done or there's work that I could be doing. But because how do we afford to go on these vacations if we don't work, right? So is it a chicken or the egg thing? I don't know. But yes, after a while, because you've developed really good relationships, especially with a lot of your regular clients, people know that you go out of town and that you go on vacation. So I just make it a point before I go on vacation, even if I'm going to be gone for a single day of the week, like for instance, this Vegas event that's coming up where we're going to do this live training in Vegas. I'm going to have to let all my clients know that I'm going to be out for Friday because that's our travel day. So I'm going to be out on Friday. And then if I ever am going to be out for even a single day, I'll let them all know ahead of time, and let them know that they can send me the files and stuff ahead of time so I can get it back to them if they've got deadlines. But just make sure you let them know in plenty of time ahead of time. So it can be hard, Kirk. And the anxiety never really goes away, but it it goes down a little bit because we all need to unplug. Self-care is very important. We don't want to just flame throw the candle at both ends or blowtorch the candle at both ends. So just keep that in mind. There's JJ. Happy Friday to you as well. And there's Mary. Hello there, Mary. Mary teaches our Thursday night performance class. And there's Charlie. What's the charge for the Fiverr class? It is $197. $197 for both classes, for the original, the Tuesday night class that's an hour and a half, and then the follow-up class 2 weeks later for an hour. Link in description below. And by the way, you can read John's backstory and kind of how he became the Fiverr sorcerer that he is in that link if you want to read about it. Happy and Joyful says, good morning from Florida. And there's Maria from sunny Rhode Island. I found the Voice Acting Club on Discord. Any thoughts on using Discord? I don't use it, never have. I don't even know really what it's about. So I've heard of it. That's all I can tell you. So there's tons and tons and tons of voiceover groups, both on Facebook and, a lot of these other platforms, which I do suggest you join and learn from. Just make sure that you take everything you have or everything you hear with a grain of salt. There's a lot of opinions out there, and some are better than others. Let's just put it that way. So there's a lot of noise and a lot of stuff out there, but just take everything you hear with a grain of salt and do some research. I talked about that once again when I did that topic on coaches, but learn from everywhere and from everyone, and then take the bits that resonate with you and put them in place. There's Alan from PA and Cadens, K-A-D-N-S Craftworks from Tri-Cities in Tennessee. Andrew says, got an x-ray today. I'll do a checkup on Monday. That's awesome. Hopefully that'll heal up soon for you. I just found out that I've got a torn tendon in my right elbow. I thought it was just a case of overuse, like tennis elbow or something like that, because I was doing some projects late last year with big drywall stuff here when I was turning my closet back into a closet from a long time ago when it was a booth, and ended up tearing a tendon, which I didn't know about until just last week. And so now I got to get that worked on too. It's always something. JJ says, Alex is wonderful. He is. Alex really knows his business. And the reason why when I took over the blueprint from Bill, I wanted to make sure that everybody who teaches our classes are experts in what they do. I'm obviously a marketing expert, so I teach our Monday class. Alex is our tech expert, so he teaches our Tuesday class. John, who's teaching our Tuesday night class on Fiverr that I've been talking about, teaches our regular Wednesday night class on Fiverr. Mary teaches our Thursday night performance class. She is not only an on-camera talent, but also a voice talent, so she helps with performance issues. And then Friday, we have Kayla, who does Upwork. She is an Upwork expert. So each one of those classes is taught by a bona fide expert in that category. Happy and Joyful says, good morning from Patricia in Florida. What a great group. Well, thank you. Thank you. There's Edward from Jacksonville, Florida. Have a great one, everyone. Kirk says, appreciate the honesty. Thanks, Kirk. It can be hard. It can be hard to unplug. Just, you got to make yourself, even if it's just, here's another example. There are some days, hopefully less than most, but there are some days when you have, kind of a slower day. Like for instance, this past Monday for me was, if it was a Monday or Friday, anyway, they kind of run together, but some days are just a little slower than usual. So instead of freaking out, sometimes I'll use that time to unplug, even if it's just for a few hours. Say it's midday and not a lot is coming in, and, just knock off the rest of the day. And just those little mini breaks are also very helpful. You don't have to unplug for a whole week. I mean, it's nice if you can. Andrew says, speedy recovery to you too. Thank you. Appreciate it, Andrew. Mine's not as bad as yours. I mean, I've still got mobility. I mean, I can, although like even if I lift this water jug with my right arm, it's still a little painful, but it's definitely not like what you're going through, Andrew. So best of luck on that. Oh, Cadence. Cadence, it's okay. Got it. Cadence asked, we have an improv theater here that gives free improv classes an hour before the show. Would that be helpful for someone for some type of training? Absolutely. By all means, especially if it's free. I personally have never taken an improv class. I probably should if I really, if I really put my mind to it, I probably should. But I do know that there are plenty of people out there who have gone through improv classes, and it has greatly helped their performance on VO. So by all means, do it. Thank you, Candace. And there's John from Atlanta, Georgia. All right, guys. We're already at the bottom of the list here. Any other questions? Let's make sure I haven't missed anything. Sometimes it jumps on me. A performing artist says, Cadence Craftwork, are you in Atlanta? Let's see. And there's Stephen from Atlanta. Let's see if I can find that first. Oh no, Cadence is in Tennessee. She's in the Tri-Cities. Just up the road from where I was born and raised. Up on Rocky Top. All right. Any questions about Fiverr or anything else? Oh, wait. Watt7 says, hey, Mike, it's Matt from New Orleans. I don't think my previous message went through. What previous message was that? Well, unless it was just that from New Orleans. Well, welcome from Nolans. Edward says, doing different reads and inflections is improvising. Yes. In fact, one of the exercises that I do a lot of times with my students is we take a single script. And this, I think, is something that Mary has been doing too from time to time. We take a single script and we read it in all the different ways we possibly can. Conversational, warm and caring, flirtatious, high energy, gritty, you name the style. They're just words. So each of those scripts can be read any way you want, just to show that they're just words. You can read them, in any kind of, speed or tone or whatever that you want to do. And then that's a really good practice to help you, especially when you're doing auditions, because a lot of times when I always suggest doing 2 takes, at least 2 takes, if you've got 2 takes to give in an audition. Don't just give them 2 takes that are kinda similar, because that's just wasting their time. But if you've got 2 very different takes to give someone, do that. I cannot tell you the amount of times that someone has chosen my second take and told me to do it like that when I won the audition. So, always give 2 takes if you can. Remember, don't make them so similar that if you're just inflecting on one little word here, but everything else is the same. Don't do that. If you can give 2 very different reads, do it. But if you only have 1 in you, just give them the 1, and that's totally fine. But yes, that is where an improv class would help, because it would help you kind of try to figure out how to do it differently. Happy and Joyful says, "I have a commitment on Wednesdays. Is there anything pre-recorded for that class? You're doing a great job. Loved your book." Thank you so much for all of that. Um, Wednesday, the class, John's class is on Tuesday. John's this Fiverr class that we're talking about, the big class that's open to everyone, is on Tuesday night at 5 p.m. He teaches our regular Wednesday night class on Fiverr just in the Blueprint for members of the Blueprint. So that's for members only. But this big class is on Tuesday night. So hopefully you can attend that. And even if you can't, like I said, it is recorded so you can watch the playback. Andrew says, "Is there a video script like that to practice?" Any script, you can do that too. Just go find a script. I always encourage people to just hop over on YouTube, look for, whenever I work with someone on a demo, we always try to find scripts that mean something to you. So if you drive a Honda Accord, look for some Honda Accord spots, transcribe it, and then try to recreate it on your own. Easy peasy. Matt says, "I talked to you for a minute on Instagram, still trying to figure out what questions to ask and what to do. I'm going to check out my schedules and sign up for the class." Awesome. Thank you, Matt. I think you'll really enjoy it. And especially if you're brand new, Fiverr is, I hesitate to call it the minor leagues, because there's still plenty of work to be had in the major leagues on Fiverr. Although a lot of coaches will tell you otherwise, but they don't realize that there is good money to be made on Fiverr if you're further down the road. But Fiverr is a great training ground to learn the ropes and to get used to recording and editing and processing and working with scripts and clients and reads, and just kind of working the muscles that you need to use to do this full time. And you'll make a little bit of money doing it. But then as you continue to grow your skill set, then you can start raising your rates and raising your rates, and eventually be making actual, industry rates on Fiverr, like I'm doing and like John's doing, and so many people who've kind of worked the system to their advantage and worked their way up the ladder. That is a great place to start. So if you are brand new at this, that is going to be a great entry into this world. And who knows, you could win the free spot. You never know. I'm going to draw for that on Monday. And really all I'm going to do is I just take all the names of everybody who signed up and I put them in a Google randomizer, hit it a few times to kind of shuffle it, and then pick one, and then you'll get a refund. Okay, guys, I once again am going to get back to work. And oh wait, we got one more here. Matt also says, "Thank you, Andrew. That was actually a question I had. Scripts, where to find them? And thanks, Mr. Mike. Going to look for scripts that mean something to me." Absolutely. That's the way to do it. And also look for different styles too. Don't just find one type of read. Some of the styles you may want to look for, and this is something you can't really search for a certain style, but as you're looking at the commercials, guy or girl next door, or conversational is another way to say that, just casual, just how you would talk to a friend. Warm, sincere, caring is another good one. Think of banks and hospitals and retirement, all the soft and squishy kind of reads. We're all in this together. And in these unprecedented times, remember that? If I said that once, I said it a million times during COVID. We're all in this together. High energy spots. This weekend at the Ashley Home Store's 4th of July sale, right? Gritty, think Sam Elliott and, Coors beer and trucks and testosterone and tools. And then there's, for women, you can do flirty and kind of, sultry maybe. So there's all kinds that you can look for. So just keep an eye out on what works. Oh, Cadence uses ChatGPT to make up fictional brand spots. I never run out of practice scripts. That's great. That's a good idea. I wouldn't use any of those on a demo, but just for practice, yes. Plenty of stuff to be had on ChatGPT. Just remember though, when you're looking at YouTube scripts, the YouTube scripts have kind of passed muster. They've been approved and put out there in the wild by, real copywriters, and, that's real stuff. A lot of the practice scripts that you may run across may or may not be great, but they're okay for practice, just not for a demo. Matt says, gotcha. Thank you. Just going to have to rewatch the video to take some notes. JJ says, for a 70-second demo, what order would you put the reads in? Energetic, warm, gritty, etc. What would you start with? Well, there's no rhyme or reason there. There's not like a thing that says you must start with energetic or you must start with this or that. What I always do when I'm putting a demo together for someone, I just start with what their strongest performance is. That's the thing that's going to grab them. And then you don't want to put something similar next to it. So you want to always keep them guessing. So if you start with something that's, high energy, then the next one should be the opposite of that, so that they're always going, wow, what else can this person do? And you kind of keep them on the line, because people have very short attention spans, and, they're probably going to skip through your demo anyway. Very rarely is somebody going to just listen to your demo from beginning to end. People are just too busy. So you got to grab them and you got to try to hold them and keep them wondering what's next. So there's no like, you must start here and then do this and then do that and then do that. Now, I will also say, and this comes from personal experience, JJ, that I had a demo done. Bill did it actually years and years ago. And one of the spots on that demo was for Chipotle. And I think it was number 3 in the lineup. So it was the third in the third in the list. But people started telling me that they wanted me to do my reads like the Chipotle ad. They really liked that ad. So what did I do? I rearranged my demo. Because if something on your demo is resonating with someone and you continually get people asking you to do it like that, I put that thing up front, because I want the thing that is resonating with people the most to be the first thing they hear. So I just mixed it up. I just moved that one to the front and moved everything down. And, so it's okay to do that. Definitely okay to do that. All right. We are pretty much at the bottom of the hour. So once again, I'm going to get back to work, and I hope to see you all back here on Monday. And remember, Tuesday night is the class. So the link is below in the description. Check it out. Sign up. You could win it for free. I'm going to draw on Monday. And that's it. I'm out of here. Hope you have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. See ya.